If he wants to take certain actions, our response will be an equivalent earthquake like retaliation. First, we tell all neighboring countries and other countries around the world not to enter into an economic war alongside the United States. Any country that partners in creating economic restrictions against us will be considered an enemy. Tehran would first seek talks with countries considering economic restrictions, but warned if they failed to comply, we will hit the interests of that country. Now, if they're going to impose economic sanctions on us, the U.S. has many oil companies and economic interests around Iran and in other places. Well, we will hit those. It has become clear that the atomic issue is so important that America would start such a war. So why shouldn't we, the peoples of the world, pursue the atomic bomb? In the first place, the U.S., came to make nuclear security, but now nuclear insecurity has been created, he noted. Iran and Oman had agreed on a transit route through the strait, although negotiations were not complete. If they make any movement along the southern route, Strait of Hormuz, we will hit them.
و اشتیاق مردم جهان به بمب اتم رو بیشتر کرده. یعنی آمریکا گفت من برای جلوگیری از بمب اتم اومدم. الان همه دنیا میگن عجب، پس نه NPT مؤثره، نه عضویت سازمان انرژی هسته‌ای هست و معلوم شد این مسئله اتم خیلی مهمه که آمریکا یه چین جنگ و ما چرا نریم دنبال بمب اتم؟ اصلا اینا اومده بودن که مسئله امنیت هسته‌ای درست کنن، ولی الان ناامنی هسته‌ای درست شده. دنیا میگن که اگر ایرانی که این همه تبعیت کرده بهش حمله میکنن، اونم به مراکز هسته‌ایش حمله میکنن، ما چرا نریم بمب بسازیم که کسی به ما نتونه حمله بکنه؟ از طرف دیگه متوجه شدن که اگه بمب اتم داشته باشن از صدها F-35 و از بسیاری از هزینه‌ای که میشه این ارزانتره و مؤثرتره. خب الان یه اشتیاق آقای ترامپ در حمله به هسته ایران یک اشتیاقی درست کرده، خیلی از کشورها الان دنبالن. اصلا کنترل سازمان انرژی هسته‌ای رو از دست دنیا واقعا ایشون خارج کردن. خب آیا این احمقانه نبودن؟ ما و عمان همین الان هم روی مسیر البته توافق کردیم، ولی هنوز بیانیه مشترک آماده نیست، اما روی مسیر ما توافق کردیم. من به آمریکایی‌ها توصیه میکنم هیچ نیروی اضافه نکنن. اگه نیرو اضافه کنن ما همون پایگاه رو میزنیم. هیچ حرکتی توی مسیر جنوبی انجام ندن، ما میزنیم. هر جلسه‌ای که بذارن ما بفهمیم با یه گروه‌های ضد انقلاب نشستن یه جا دارن که ما اونجا رو میزنیم. بنابراین اینطور نیست که ما الان ساکت باشیم. ما ساکت نیستیم، منتها الان حملات ما کاملا معناداره.
Pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States.
After declaring Hormuz as a U.S. territory, Trump has made another shocking statement. This time, the threat is not for the Iranian regime, but for its allies. Tremendous punishment vow for the countries that help or do business with Iran. President Donald Trump's message is loud and clear. Team Trump is continuing with its pressure campaign against Tehran. The Republican leader has termed it the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. He has made a list of activities that need to be stopped. This threat comes after Iran mocked Trump's "Hormuz is U.S. territory" remark.
Pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. Essentially, that's what it is. We have the blockade. No ships get through unless we want them to. But, and how about Venezuela? Venezuela was a one-day war. And now we work great with them. We've taken in millions and millions of barrels of oil. But we're doing really good. We're doing good in every way. You know, I built the military, and now I used it a little bit more than I wanted to, frankly, but that's okay, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Do we agree? Can't let it.
Iran responded with a satirical post showing a map of the U.S. with California labeled as New Territory of Islamic Republic. Iran also strongly responded to Trump's economic D-Day threat, saying that it is a diversion from America's own crisis. Foreign Minister Sayed Abbas Araghchi highlighted the U.S.'s unprecedented debt and surging interest costs. Trump's latest message is for Iran's trading partners. Trump says, oil smuggling, swap lines, cash transfers, exchange houses, ship registries, front companies, it all needs to stop now. Notably, Trump has not named any country, but clarified they know who they are. Let's not forget that India, China, and Turkey were amongst the biggest trading partners of Iran before the war broke out. Trump's announcement came a day after the United Arab Emirates said it was suspending trade and financial transactions with Iran until further notice. The UAE said the decision followed what it described as regional escalations that threatened regional and international security. Who is controlling the Strait of Hormuz? The big question that has frustrated the giant economies across the world. One of the most vital choke points. 1/5 of the world's oil trade is dependent on this route, but the traffic has not returned to its normal capacity here, thanks to Mr. Donald Trump and, of course, the Iranian forces. You might be thinking that the situation must have improved a little in the Hormuz Strait, as it has been over 5 months of consistent exchange of fire between the US and Iran. But that's not true. Seafarers are tense. Countries are exploring new options, new sea routes. Trade across the world has been affected. The US Central Command and the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps frequently post about their attacks and counterattacks in the Strait of Hormuz. The geography of the strait is the biggest factor that lures the countries. No single country owns the Hormuz Strait. Connecting the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, the shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz are located primarily in Omani territorial waters and partially in Iranian territorial waters, but they are governed by international maritime law and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. That's something on paper, but the reality after the war is something else. Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz, the United States putting a naval blockade on Tehran. The region has turned into a battleground with commercial vessels stuck in between missile fires. Donald Trump and Iran, claims related to Strait of Hormuz are made almost every day. POTUS now says that he will make the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory.
I don't trust Iran. Why? Are you saying I trust Iran? I'm the last person that trusts Iran. They've lied to me constantly. We have total control over the Hormuz Strait right now. They don't have control. We have total control. We own it. And at some point, maybe they'll do something and then they get blown away. But right now, we're in a very good position. We have a country that has been the bully of the Middle East for 50 years. It's really 51 if you think about it, right? We've been saying 47 for 4 years. And they're no longer the bully of the Middle East.
Apart from the massive hit to trade, the cost of war is immense. The UKMTO data shows that there have been 54 reports of damage to vessels in the Strait, or the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Reports suggest that there is still some traffic going through the Persian Gulf, headed to non-Iranian destinations, but that traffic is still just a fraction of pre-war levels. The United States still bars ships from going to or from any Iranian port. Iran's cash flow has been strangled. Tehran's economy has further weakened. For the US also, the cost of the war is immense. In July, Pete Hegseth said the months-long war on Iran is estimated to have cost about $37.5 billion, and more was sought to fight the war. The country has already racked up thousands of dollars in weapons bills. Also, it is increasingly using up its stockpiles. Also, according to data shared by the Pentagon, 18 U.S. service members have been killed. and 687 wounded since the outbreak of the war. The continuous closure of the straits has wrought havoc on global markets. The pressure is mounting, even on the U.S. president. Recently, Saudi's Crown Prince urged Donald Trump to prioritize dialogue. This no end to war is denting Donald Trump's image. The impact could be visible in the upcoming U.S. midterm elections in November. Undoubtedly, the United States still has an upper edge when it comes to military and economy, but is it really worth it to keep stretching this war? The so-called peacemaker, who claims that he has ended several wars, is refusing to come up with a solution for this one.